First, let's start with this case.
I had a close cousin friend group until our parents found out that we smoke and drink together. Big deal, because the majority of the group was minors. My two cousins Amelia and Olivia threw Josh under the bus, saying it was all him since it was his stash. Heather and I told the truth that we all smoked and drank. This created a rift in our group. I still haven't fully processed my feelings about this. Cut to today, 6 years later, and 24. Still close with Heather and Josh, here and there with Olivia, and pretty much never with Amelia. Life happens, no hard feelings. I got engaged spring 24 after 3 years of dating. At this point, we are all now 20 plus YO. Fiancé and I decide on our bridal parties being 6 people each. I chose my brother, Heather, Josh, BFF Polly. I was iffy on asking Olivia, but ended up doing it, and instead of asking Amelia, I asked another cousin I got a lot closer to over the years. I explained to Amelia that I had to keep the party to 6, and we just didn't talk anymore. She said she understood. After I asked all my bridal members at Thanksgiving, did it for convenience and minimize stress, Olivia made a comment to my fiancé. Amelia would have been a better choice when Josh was talking about being in the bridal party. My fiancé told me about it, and I shrugged it off because this is the type of nonsense Olivia does. Jan 25, I'm still not over the comment. I planned on talking to Olivia about it when my wedding coordinator Erin sends me a screenshot of Olivia saying she can't make it to my bachelorette party. We don't even have a date set and aren't even trying to make it. I snapped and told Erin to send her a message. She is out of the bridal party. She is mad. I had Erin, so it and I regret doing it that way. But what's done is done. Edit. I know I'm the idiot here, but that's not the topic of this post. Olivia is refusing to admit what she said at Thanksgiving, that I'm trusting some rando over her. Edit. She said to my fiancé, who I trust no matter what. I have therapy tomorrow to figure out WTF to do. I already tried to reach out to her, but she burned that olive branch. Edit. I messaged her asking to talk after my shift, and she refused. Here is where I'm wondering if, am I in the wrong? My mom thinks I need to make peace with Olivia. That since I already asked her to be in the party, I should try to work it out with her. But I truly feel that if we fixed this today, I would still not allow her back into the bridal party. After she burned my olive branch, I said, let's take a few days before texting or calling again. And she responded with, OP, focus on your wedding. I'm good. In previous texts, she said she won't come to the wedding. BC, I had Erin send the text. I feel like I'm being slapped on either side of my face again and again, and now I don't know my left from my right. Edit. When we all got caught, we were 15, 19 YO, and this was in 2019. I didn't add ages because I kept going over the character limit, but I should have prioritized it. As of now, I'm 24, and my fiancé is 25. Olivia is 25, and everyone else is old enough to drink, lol. I also know I'm the idiot because of how I kicked her out and everything. I said in the post, I snapped and told Erin to send her a message that she is out of the bridal party. She is mad. I had Erin, so it, and I regret doing it that way, but what's done is done. I'm asking if I'm the idiot for refusing to let her back into my bridal party, like my mom wants me to. Let's start judging. I think that the fact you cannot even rent a car at this age, combined with being involved with something this petty, you should not get married. You're going to hate me and call me every name in the book. The fact remains that you are posting about something so immature and with an adolescent attitude. Everyone sucks. This is some teenage middle school level nonsense. You suck because you've chosen people you're not even that close with to be in your bridal party, and expect them to care in a way that maybe just isn't correct. Bachelorettes are expensive nowadays, and some people just don't want to attend even before knowing details, and that is fine. Be grown enough to accept that. And if you don't want someone in your bridal party, address is head on. Olivia sucks because the Amelia comment seems unfounded, but I suspect there's also missing context, which makes your fiancé suck for not giving it. You're in the wrong. Y'all sound incredibly insecure and petty. If this is the stuff you argue about, he said, she said, blah blah, and lose sleep over, count yourself lucky. You should focus on your wedding, and not on this one comment about the person you didn't actually want in your bridal party, 'cause you're not close. She accepted, but didn't change who she is. and gives you an easy way out. But you intend on arguing and getting your perfect picture in which everyone apologizes to you. Let her go, focus on your wedding. Next up, I-19F was adopted at birth. I don't know this until I was 17. I found out in the worst way possible. My grandpa was drunk and told me. I asked my parents and they confessed. They called me ungrateful for asking. After finding out I was adopted, a lot of things suddenly made sense. My parents' family often excluded me from things like family pictures and reunions. My mom would fight it sometimes, but it wouldn't help. It felt like I never fit in. When I turned 18, I moved in with my roommate. She said it might be cool to find out who my biological parents are. I asked my parents, and once again I get called ungrateful. I didn't know where to look from there. My roomie suggested one of those ancestry DNA tests to find a match. We did that and boom, I got into contact with my biological uncle via email and soon after that, phone. After that, he told my biological mother about the situation. She freaked out. We met, and it was an amazing experience. I love her, and I want to make a point that this does not take away from the love I have for my adoptive parents. I just hate how they covered it up. I got to meet the rest of my bio family as well. Since my parents treated me as ungrateful for asking questions about my biological family, I didn't tell them. I did, however, recognize that I would need to tell them eventually. I knew they would be angry, but it had to happen. I visit them every so often. Keeping this secret from them was starting to make me feel guilty, so I decided to tell them yesterday. I texted my mom asking if I could come over for dinner. She said yes, and I had a conversation with them with all my siblings present. This made me uncomfortable, but if my parents found out, they would find out as well. It all started well. My dad stated how she was happy to see me come over to eat with them. Well, a few minutes later I told them. Their initial reaction was one of shock. My mom asked my siblings to go to their room so she and my father could talk to me alone. To my surprise, they weren't angry. They asked me why I did it. I told them the truth. Curiosity got the best of me. I thought my blood was theirs for 17 years, and when I found out it wasn't, I had to find out where it comes from. They asked in what way could I forget everything they did for me, and that family is more than blood connections. I told them I didn't forget. I was just angry at them for hiding the fact from me. My biological parents gave me up because they were poor and lived in a rural area with little opportunity for them. That actually made me more grateful for my parents. My mom got really offended by this. How I could feel anger towards her was incomprehensible for her and my father. I told them it's best I should leave. My mom told not to come back until I learned some gratitude and learned to appreciate family. I'm sorry for any typing mistakes I made. I'm typing this at night, and this is a stressful situation. Am I in the wrong? Let's start judging. You're not in the wrong. When people adopt, the idea is that the child is treated exactly as their own. By allowing the extended family members to mistreat you, they did not do right by you, and I expect they know this. You were also wronged by the secrecy around the adoption. You are not being ungrateful by doing what most adopted children think of doing. Blood relatives are a mystery in most families, but for adopted ones, it's magnified. Please don't feel guilty. You're not in the wrong. I am an adoptive mother myself. No parent, adoptive or otherwise, is ever owed anything from their children. That includes gratitude. And the fact that you have a problem with something they did in no way erases any gratitude you may feel. And clearly you do, as you stated as such. To me, this speaks of some difficulty in emotional regulation on her part. Her reaction was terrible, but unsurprising coming from someone that hid such a fundamental thing from their child for so long. I am sorry you have to go through this. Just know you did nothing wrong here. With all of the other stress this has caused you, please do not let worries about that take root. Your mother wronged you and cannot face that. That's not on you. You're not in the wrong. I recommend trying to find adoptee advocacy groups to help you meet people in similar situations. Many of these groups talk about the toxic nature of the grateful adoptee narrative. Next up, yesterday I finished a doctor app late afternoon, early evening and went to the parking garage. It was 83 degrees for reference. Next to my car is a car that had a floofy northern breed dog in it. Dog had a small bowl of water and all 4 windows were cracked about 1.5 inches. This was Ab's older car, so no dog mode like the Tesla. I am the owner of the same breed of dog, so I was concerned. I waited 20 minutes and then decided to call the police, non-emergency line. Policeman arrived an hour after I called, and the first thing he said was, "I don't know anything about dogs." He agreed the dog was panting a little and tracked the owner. Owner comes and turns out he works at an establishment nearby. He states, he does this all the time. The dog loves the car and hates being at home alone. He stated he doesn't do it on days where we had a heat wave. I countered it's 83 degrees and I was hot just standing there. I too own this breed of dog and I thought I did the right thing by calling the police. He stated, "While we are judging others, you don't look fit enough to own this type of dog. Why, I am a size 8. In the end, the cop said it's up to the owner and that was that. And the guy went off to do the rest of his shift with dog in the car, and the cop waited for me to leave. I can't stop thinking about this. So Reddit, am I in the wrong? Let's start judging. You're not in the wrong. I highly doubt this big dog you're talking about, like an 83-degree hot car. I'm glad at least it's in a parking garage. But for 8 hours he is in this car? I think the owner made all that nonsense up. He probably used to leave the dog home and it ran around and broke stuff. So he keeps the dog in the car so it can't do anything. Imagine how much pent-up energy that dog has, how hungry it is, how hot is it. The owner has no sympathy. Next time you see this, though, I'd call for animal cruelty. Even in a state like mine where animals' rights aren't really a thing, being cruel to your animal is still taken seriously. The cop just didn't give a crap, unfortunately. You're not in the wrong for calling the police. For future reference, call animal control, which might be your sheriff's office. However, it's a crazy world out there. Be careful dying over someone's dog isn't worth it. Call emergency services and move along. You're not in the wrong. And here's why. There are online calculators for how hot it is inside a car based on outside temperature. Based on that, temperatures could get up to about 126 degrees Fahrenheit inside the vehicle. Assuming the owner left shortly before you saw the dog 80 minutes prior to the arrival of police. 20 minutes before call plus our arrival time post-call. Inside car temp calculator. Taking into effect the cracked windows, the temperature would be closer to the 83 degrees outside temperature. Article with graph showing temp changes with cracked window. Dogs are unable to sweat, which means it's harder for them to regulate temperature like humans would, and they are more prone to heat stroke. It's advised to bring them in when temperatures reach about 80 degrees due to this. However, it's also advised to never leave a dog in the car, as heat stroke can occur even at outside temps as low as 70 degrees for pets left in vehicles. Article with information about heat stroke in pets. Next up, my son 11M and I 44M recently booked a trip to go skiing in Colorado. It was my son's first time skiing, but he had seen a lot of skiing videos on YouTube, and he seemed really excited for the trip. We also live in Florida, so this is not the trip you can just go and do whenever you like. We are not rich. I grew up in Utah and I loved skiing when I was younger, and I would say I'm an expert on the mountain. The first day goes all good, and my son really enjoyed skiing for the first time, even though he fell a lot, lol. I made sure to be as supportive and caring as possible, even when he was struggling, because I wanted to make this as fun an experience as possible for him. However, on the second day of skiing, he says he's finally ready to ski down the whole mountain, and so we take the lift to the top. Luckily, there was a way to get down the mountain while only staying on green level trails, so we took that way. My son is having a blast, when all of a sudden this guy in his 20s careens into my son from behind, going on insane speeds, wiping them both out. My son immediately started crying and came running to me after he got his skis off, and once he calmed down, he ran to the lodge where my wife was, and she decided to take him to the doctor's office. I immediately confront the guy for being so reckless, and he simply says that I should have been paying better attention to my kid, and then he rode off. That was the final straw for me, and I called the ski patrol number in the app and told the guy the situation and what the skier was wearing, and they told me they would find him and kick him out. Later on, I saw him getting escorted out of the park by 2 ski patrol officers, and when he saw me, He immediately started cursing me out and calling me a horrible dad. I tried to ignore it, but now I'm second-guessing myself if I overreacted. So, am I in the wrong? Let's start judging. You're not in the wrong. Green trails are specifically beginner-friendly. Anyone who knows slopes would know that the path will be filled with kids and people still unsteady on their skis. I've never even been on the slopes, and I know that. He definitely needed to be more mindful and should have had the decency to at least apologize for potentially seriously injuring a kid. The authorities at the lodge knew he was reckless and dangerous, which is why they escorted him out. He shouldn't be there if he's going to endanger other guests, especially kids. They don't need a skiing lawsuit in the making on the grounds. I hope your son is okay and that this doesn't turn him off skiing. You're a good parent. You're not in the wrong. As a ski patroller, the law is that the uphill skier is responsible for avoiding people, to maintain safe speeds, and to remain in control. An accident on the hill has legal recourse, and they were actively breaking the law. This law is posted on all of your mountain passes, and you agree to adhere to it when you are on the mountain. It is also the responsibility of the downhill skier to check uphill when merging or beginning their path, but this doesn't seem like the case from the description of the accident. You're not in the wrong. Thank you for doing that. This could have been so much worse. It's a green trail. That dude should have known better. I don't even know what he means by. You should have been watching your kid. You were watching your kid. You watched him get rammed into by this idiot. How could you have prevented what happened at all? He's the guy who came up behind your son at unreasonable speed. If you were any closer to your son, you would have been hit too. That guy's just lashing out and refusing to take any responsibility for his actions. You did the right thing. What if he had hit into an even smaller child? You're all lucky this wasn't so much worse.